All right. Fans, welcome on a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday afternoon to Swain County High School here on the third round of the State 1A softball playoffs. And South Stokes comes out with an attempted bunt down to first base, not in time. So it's going to be the first hit of the day for South Stokes. We'll talk more about the Soras, and we'll tell you what that actually means. I had to look at it myself, and we'll tell you more about that as we go along here. Of course, South Stokes from Walnut Cove, North Carolina, just north of Winston-Salem, not too far from the Virginia state line. They said about 3.5 hours traveling down, talking with their coaches and players. A nice bunch of people. Head coach Hunter Ford, assisted by Harriet Amos and Reagan Badgett. And I told them I actually kind of like their uniforms. They are maroon. Different shade of maroon than our Maroon Devils, but anyway, attempted bunt down to second on the steal, and it's going to be not in time. So in safely with a stolen base now is going to be Rebecca Amos. So she has started out things with a bang here with a stolen base. And a single now. Batting is going to be Marissa Crandall, who's going to be facing Riley Rawls in the pitching circle, as Crandall is going to be pitching in the circle this afternoon for the South Stokes Soras, the number 2 team from their conference up in that Northwestern League. And it is a tough league. Pitch in, going to be call strike. The umpire behind home plate kind of slow with that signal, but he finally got it up there, as it's an 0-1 count now with hitter number 2 on the lineup for South Stokes here. Again, lots of sunshine, still lots of clouds around as Rawls brings it. Here's another attempted bunt, this time to third base, on over to first, and that's going to be in time. Good play over there by Lady Devils third baseman Allie Stevenson to scoop that one up and fire, but the batter, Marissa Crandall, did what she needed to do. She moved the runner, Amos, over to third base with that sacrifice ground ball, if you will. Olivia Martin now batting with 1 out, 1 on. And again, in scoring position is Rebecca Amos here early for South Stokes. Riley Walls again in the circle, off speed, swing and a miss for a strike one. The big surprise, and nothing against South Stokes at all, but I'm not sure anybody expected them to be here, because they played one of the top teams in the state last Friday at number 3 seed Robbinsville. There's a pitch high for a ball, and they won over Robbinsville in that contest, which a lot of people really didn't expect. And they had a huge game as they really got the job done against Naomi Taylor, one of the top pitchers in the mountains. And they got the win, and that's why there's another off-speed pitch for a swing and a miss, strike 2. But South Stokes had 8 hits versus Naomi Taylor for Robbinsville in that 7-5 win. Taylor only struck out 3, but Naomi also hit a home run of her own for Robbinsville, but it was not enough for a 7-5 South Stokes win. Big upset there in that game. Pitch just missing inside for a ball. South Stokes having a good year, coming in 17-8 overall. Our Lady Devils are 17-5. And again, as we mentioned, they were second in that Northwestern 1A conference behind defending state champions East Wilkes. There's a foul ball, as just kind of a late swing, but just got a piece of it. East Wilkes, of course, in case you haven't heard, they're the defending 1A state champions. They were undefeated in conference play at 12-0. They were 23-4 overall. And again, edging this South Stokes team in that conference championship standing. South Stokes, the number 2 team from their league, just as our Lady Devils are here on the Smoky Mountain Conference. Off speed in for a strike. And that's going to be strikeout number 1 as she caught Olivia Martin looking. Batting now is going to be number 12, Riley Penix, their third baseman. But these two teams obviously know how to get it done. They have good pitching. They have good hitting. To give you an example, Carly Tisateski last Friday at Cherryville, 2 solo home runs in that game. Pitch outside for a ball. Now, the sad thing about South Stokes, they have not one stat on their Max Preps page where most people like myself and some guy named Brandon Stevens might go to find some stats. So South Stokes, not one mention of a stat for any player on their page. But such is life. Oh, here's a ball in the dirt, and scoring from third is going to be Rebecca Amos. So that is the first run of the game, scoring from third base. Ball just got through. So now the bases are empty, and Riley Pinnock still batting with 2 out. Nobody on, 2 down, top of the first inning. We're just underway. Pitch missing outside for a ball. But these two teams, obviously, as we mentioned, know how to win. They're well coached. Coach Toby Burrell gave me a tidbit that I didn't know. We have not been this far in the State 1A playoffs since 2010. That's the last year we made it to the third round. Swing and a miss for a big strike. And I tell you, Penix was swinging for the fence on that one. And back in 2010, we made it to the third round and then actually got knocked out of the playoffs by Murphy, I think, that year in a tough ball game. So there's a ball in the dirt, and that's going to be a walk. So getting on now is going to be Penix with another base runner now for the Sauras. And talking about the Sauras, in case you're wondering, the Sauras were a small tribe in colonial backcountry in Piedmont, North Carolina. Again, way back in the colonial era. Their name lives on in the Sauratown Mountains down in Stokes County. And their county seat is Danbury, which again is just north of Winston-Salem. There's a ground ball. Going to be a tough play, but not for Hadley Schuler at second. Scoops, flips on over to first as Stokes leaves one runner on base, but they come out with a 1-0 lead here on the top of the first inning. We'll be back with the bottom of the inning after this timeout. Fans, welcome back. Gary Ayers along with Josh Gordon here. Brandon Stevens, he's batting clean up behind us here as we're holding down the press box here outside right field here in the first round of the third round, in the State 1A playoffs. Of course, both teams coming up with big upset wins. I think South Stokes was a bigger upset than our Lady Devils, even though our Lady Devils beat number 6 seed Cherryville on the road last week handily. I mean, it was just a tail kicking, if you will. Our Lady Devils coming in as the number 11 seed in the State 1A playoffs. South Stokes, of course, as we mentioned, having a good year. And that's going to be out number 1. So Riley Rawls, no, check that. Yep, going to be out number 1. As Riley, of course, having a great year. What a year she's having. Hitting .559, leading the team with 38 hits, 9 doubles, 3 home runs on the year. And we'll tell you about her pitching stats that have just been phenomenal. She has pitched every inning, let's put it that way. Here's a ground ball off the bat of Molly Woodard hitting second. Molly coming in on the year hitting .358, 24 hits, 3 doubles, a triple, and is our stolen base leader with 10 stolen bases. And she can really motor a center fielder who can cover a lot of ground, obviously, that position requires. 1 down. Nobody on. On deck is going to be Hadley Schuler, followed by Carly Tisateski. And this is a tough Lady Devil lineup for any pitcher like South Stokes' Marissa Crandall to face here in the third round of the state 1A playoffs. We're on the final 8, if you will. If you want to use there's a swing and a miss for a strike. If you want to use a basketball term, it's the Elite 8 in the Western bracket. And what is so cool, out of the Elite 8 in the Western 1A bracket, 3 teams are from our Smoky Mountain Conference: Swain, Murphy, and Cherokee. All still alive, all still playing today. There's a swing and a miss for out number 2. Hadley Schuler batting now. And again, Hadley, if there was an all-freshman team in the Smoky Mountain Conference, she would be on it and might even be the freshman of the year, hitting .412. Leads the team with 9 doubles, just like Riley Rawls, has scored 27 runs, has really just had a really good year. Had a triple, had a home run, 18 RBIs. There's a foul ball out of play by Hadley. Riley, check that. It's going to be Carly Tisateski, our cleanup batter on deck. Carly coming off a 2 solo home run game over Cherryville in that big win last Friday. Lady Devils knocking out the number 6 seed. Of course, South Stokes knocked out number 3 seed Robbinsville last Friday as well. As I'm sure a lot of people expected potentially Cherryville and Robbinsville to be playing, but and I think there's an off-speed pitch, going to be in for a ball. I think Swain, as they were probably on the way back from Cherryville last Friday, probably expected to be at Robbinsville today. But, you know, that's the beauty of sports. You can have seeds, you can have undefeated records, but you still got to play the game, and you just never know. There's a strike in to Hadley Schuler. And sometimes it's the heartbreaking element, if you will, of sports. But it's still, I think, one of the reasons fans show up and watch the game or watch it on the Maroon Devils Network or listen to it on the radio, whatever means of media. There's a pop-up, and it's going to be caught by the pitcher, so it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Lady Devils. So we go to the top of the second. It's South Stokes 1 and Swain 0. We'll be right back. Fans, welcome back. We go to the top of the second inning here. It's a fast-moving regional 1A playoff game here as there's a foul ball off the bat now with number 23, Emily Campbell. The right fielder hitting in the number 6 spot now for South Stokes. Again, South Stokes, to give you a little bit of history, they actually won, and this really goes a long way back. It was, if I can use Jerry McKinney as a landmark, they won the the state softball slow pitch championship way back in the day. So South Stokes, they've known how to win. They've had some winning in their time, but again, they actually won a slow pitch softball state championship way back in the I want to say the 1980s or 90s, but so they've won a title in their tenure, but no fast pitch titles. There's a shot into center field. It's going to be in for a solid base hit. A one hopper is now Molly Woodard gets it back into second base in plenty of time. So a base hit now for Emily Campbell, which will bring up Lily Jacobs, their starting first baseman. As we were talking to Coach Toby Burrell, of course, we remember the wonderful days when we used to go down to Walnut Creek, North Carolina, back when they brought the Final Four from each class down there. And they all played because I think they had, 5 or 6 fields. They all played softball down there. And Swain played in 2 state championships and were in the playoffs, I think, like 4 or 5 straight years down at Walnut Creek. Those were just that's just a wonderful place to play, and I wish they still did that in the state softball championships. I know Brandon remembers that as well. You could broadcast up there in their booth and watch all 4 games. So it was pretty cool the way the booth was kind of situated right in the middle of the 4 fields, and you could watch all 4 games at the same time if you wanted to. Swing and a miss for a strike. Riley Rawls bearing down. Riley having a great year. What a year she's having. 131 innings pitched, 17-5 record. She's pitched every game, 162 strikeouts, only 30 walks, 22 earned runs. The opponents are only batting 179 against her, and her ERA is a stellar 1.18. That is impressive. As we mentioned, we'd love to have some stats for South Stokes, but they do not have any on their webpage. But again, right now, they have a runner on and nobody out on the top of the second inning. Riley Rawls, the windup, off speed, got a swing and a drop third strike, but first base is occupied. So I'm afraid that Lily Jacobs is going to have to stop right there for one down. Abby Eaton is going to be hitting now with one out, their designated player for the Soras. But I think 2 teams that are well represented. Talking to some of the fans, actually, from South Stokes before the game, they were kind of laughing. They said, hey, it's not as far to Swain as it is to Robbinsville. They drove to Robbinsville last Friday, and that's a long way. There's a diving catch. Faith Woodard diving and pulling that soft line drive in, and what a great play over there by Faith Woodard at first base. And that is a great play. So now 2 out, 1 on. Tessa Brim, the batter, their second baseman for South Stokes. But again, South Stokes traveled all the way to Robbinsville, and that's, I'm guessing, right at 4 hours or so from South Stokes. Here's a high pop-up. Could be in play, and it's going to be caught by Faith. So Faith with 2 putouts in a row. And it's 1-0 as, again, South Stokes leaving 1 on base. And the Lady Devils looking for our first base runner. We'll come back in the bottom of the second after this timeout. Fans, welcome back. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0. South Stokes in the lead here. Third round of the State 1A playoffs. Very high pop-up, but playable. And it's going to be caught in deep second base or shallow right field, however you want to play that. But it's a great play over there by their second baseman, Tessa Brim, off the bat of Carly Tisateski. She hit it a mile high. And one down. And again, Carly had a huge game in that massive win, 12-1, I believe the final score was, at number 6 Cherryville last Friday. 2 solo home runs. Coach Toby Burrell was telling me before the game one of them had to go probably 275 or more. There's a fly ball into right field, going to be caught out there by their right fielder, Emily Campbell. And that's going to be off the bat of Faith Woodard. So, but Coach Burrell told me that Carly crushed one. He said their field was about 225 to the fence, and it went way over the fence. And said they stopped in Polk County on the way back and picked up that softball. So anyway, Kennedy Anthony batting now for the Lady Devils. 2 out, nobody on. Kennedy having a great year as well, hitting .338, 19 ribbies, couple of doubles, and a triple. And one of the best arms in the league. I mean, she can just rocket that ball from anywhere in the shortstop. There's another high ball. This one is going to be in foul territory. And coming over, hustling all the way, was Emily Campbell, but no play on that one. That was almost outside the fence as Campbell came a long way. As you can see on the camera, the South Stokes Soras wearing maroon and gold. And if you follow the Cherokee Braves, you know those are the same colors as Cherokee wears. So Maroon Devils, of course, the home team with white and gray and some maroon trim. Here's a ground ball to second base, on over to first in time. And, man, we've seen some good defensive plays here by both teams. That's why it's only 1-0 after 2 full innings of play. Fans, stay tuned. We'll be back. Fans, hard to believe we played 2 innings here in just under 20 minutes. It's a fast-moving game. Ground ball. Riley got a glove on it. Kennedy comes on. Doesn't have time, though, as it was slowed down. But Riley almost pulled that one up, and that is the leadoff batter, Rebecca Amos. And I can say that could be classified as, oh, my gosh, everybody stand up and salute. It's Coach Frank Manley stopping by to say hello. Good to see Coach Manley always. And here comes Riley Rawls with a windup and the throw. Pitch in, throw to second, and it's going to be not in time. The second stolen base now for Rebecca Amos. She stole one the first time she came up, and now she's got her second stolen base. So, again, a big situation here for South Stokes as Marissa Crandall, their starting pitcher, now at the plate. There's a shot into left center field. It's going to be caught, and holding at second is going to be Amos, again with a stolen base. her second of the day. But a fly ball into left field. Good job out there in left field by Lady Devils Mackenzie Bird, the sister of Maddie Bird. Again, we have 3 sets of sisters on this team. And 2 girls named Schuler who are not related. Another mile-high ball, going to be Molly Woodard camping under it, and they better not run on Molly because she has the arm. We saw her double up a player the last game against Mountain Heritage at second base. And, yeah, she's like Kennedy Anthony. I mean, she can bring it. So 2 outs in a row as South Stokes now with a runner still at second. Riley Penix, the batter. But one thing about South Stokes, we've seen early, a couple of strikeouts by Riley Rawls. Pitch in for a strike now to Riley Penix, their third baseman. But South Stokes getting the ball in play. They're getting the bat on the ball. Kind of like our Lady Devils, we're getting the bat on the ball, only 1 strikeout in 2 innings. But can't get those runners on base, can't get those hitters on. Pitch in for a ball. Riley Rawls, without a doubt, is going to be playing softball at the next level somewhere after her senior season. She is only a junior this year. Of course, only 2 seniors on this year's team. Talking about Faith Woodard. Here's a well-hit ball. This one could be over, and it is going to be out of here. A 2-run homer off the bat of Riley Penix. Wow. A 2-run homer as she hits it over the right center field fence. Deep and not playable at all. So now it's a 3-0 ball game. And she drilled that ball. Once it left the bat, you knew it had the altitude to get over the fence. And that's going to bring up McKenna Flincham now, who grounded to third base her first time up for South Stokes. Again, a tough softball county up there. Talking about South Stokes, and in that conference they have East Wilkes, the defending state 1A champions. Then they have West Wilkes, the number 1 seed in the state 2A softball playoffs. Off speed, in for a strike from Riley Rawls. Nobody on. 2 down here in the top of the 3rd. Winner of this one will play the winner of the Cherokee East Wilkes game, likely on Friday. Of course, weather has something to say about that. This game was supposed to have been played on Tuesday, but, man, it just rained all day here yesterday and actually rained some this morning. So another little track and field note we'll talk about here in just a minute. Of course, we don't want to get the cart before the horse as Rawls looks in. There's a ground ball. Shortstop, Kennedy Anthony scoops, fires, got it. So nobody left on base, but again, a big 2-run homer for South Stokes as they take a 3-0 lead into the bottom of the 3rd inning. We'll be right back. Fans, welcome back. Glad to have you along. Josh Gordon along with Gary Ayers here on a Wednesday afternoon. And there's a ground ball foul off the bat of Maddie Bird hitting now, followed by Allie Stevenson and Reese Hammonds. We're already in the bottom of the third inning. This game, of course, scheduled for 7. And right now, South Stokes with a 3-0 lead. A lot of that, of course, a big 2-run homer over the fence in their top half of this third inning. So far, the Lady Devils right now looking for our first hit. And there it is. There it is. Speak of the devil, pardon the pun, but there's the first hit for the Lady Devils off the bat of Maddie Bird. We had been 3 up and 3 down in the first 2 innings, but Maddie just hit a shot into left center field for a base hit. And that hopefully will get us going here. Got a runner on, nobody out. Allie Stevenson and Reese Hammonds now. Allie on the year, 5 RBIs and a good runner with 5 stolen bases on the year. As the Lady Devils try to answer back, of course, a lot of softball still to go here. We're in the third round of the state 1A softball playoffs. We are in the Elite 8, if I can use that March Madness term. The winner of this game will play in the Final 4 of the West bracket, probably Friday. Here's a bunt. It's going to be going foul. Talking about Friday, an interesting scenario, and talking to Coach Burrell, he said he would sit down with Neil Blankenship and try to figure it out. But we're going to have 2 girls talking about Carly Tisateski and Faith Woodard. They are outstanding shot putters. They're going to be competing Friday in Greensboro at North Carolina A&T State in the state championships. There's a high pitch, wild pitch, and that's going to allow Maddie Bird to truck on down to second base. So a break for the Lady Devils now. That pitch sailing really high. Kind of the first wild pitch, though, we've seen from Marissa Crandall for South Stokes. But again, Faith and Carly are going to be in Greensboro Friday, competing in the shot put at the state championship level. Swing and a miss for a strike from Allie Stevenson. And that same day, we're scheduled to play if we win. And again, I'm putting the cart before the horse. But if we win today, we'd be playing likely at East Wilkes. So an interesting scenario there. And we hope it happens. There's a swing and a miss and an off-speed pitch for strike number 3. And again, got some kind of emergency. We see Swain County deputy leaving the game with his blue light on, and we hope everybody is going to be safe with that call. Reese Hammonds batting now. Reese doing a good job this year in right field. Covers the ground well. Of course, we're located just outside the right field fence as we have a strike 1. And we've seen Reese catch a lot of great plays out there in right field this year. A lot of fly balls, and she moves really well. Pitch in for a strike 2. 0-2 the count now on Reese. 1 out. Top of the lineup on deck with Riley Rawls. And Lady Devils, of course, with a swing of the bat or 2, could tie it up here. There's a swing and a miss. Unfortunately, that's going to be out number 2, strike 3. 2 out, 1 on Riley Rawls, the batter. But again, talking about Riley, her batting stats are almost as good as her pitching stats, hitting .559, 38 hits, 9 doubles, 14 RBIs, a triple, and 3 home runs. The team leader in hits and batting average, and tied with Hadley and Faith Woodard. All these 3 girls have 9 doubles apiece on the year. So it's been a good hitting team here for the Lady Devils, coming in as a team hitting .358 on the year, 14 home runs. Here's the windup and the throw, off speed, going to be in for a strike. Our Lady Devils have scored 185 runs, averaging 8.5 runs per game. And by the way, South Stokes averaging 9 runs per game. So both these teams are really a good hitting teams. There's a shot into right field, right inside the line. That's going to be in for a base hit, and the runner scores. All the way around from second base. All the way around, Maddie Bird scores, and Riley Rawls with a base hit. And the first RBI for the Lady Devils here in the third inning. So now, let's see. Riley looks like is going to stay in and run. By the way, Jaden Smiley, who has been running most of the year, still recuperating, of course, from her knee surgery. Swing and a miss by Molly Woodard, batting now with 2 out. I always see Jaden over there before the game and always smiling. And she said, I'm getting better every day. Such an upbeat, positive young lady. And she says, oh, I'm going to be back next year. She is not hesitant at all. She wants to come back, and I'm sure all these Lady Devils want her back. Only 2 seniors, of course, Faith Woodard and Ava Hoke off this year's team will be graduating. So it's going to be a really good Swain softball team next year. There's a ground ball to second base, and it's going to be, not in time. Riley Rawls hustles on down to second as the second baseman over there, Tessa Brim, I'm afraid, just committed the first error of the ballgame. It was a slow grounder, but it kind of hit the tip of her gloves at second on a forced play, and she surely didn't have time to throw Molly Woodard out at first base. Molly got there quickly. And now looks like head coach Hunter Ford wants to talk with the officials, talking about, I'm just guessing, this is speculation, that was there runner interference? That's the only potential issue I can think of, and I don't think it was an issue at all, but hey, that's what coaches do. They want to get every break they can for their team, and we totally understand that. So now, 2 on. But again, 2 out. Our Lady Devils trying to get a 2-out rally here. Hadley Schuler batting. Popped out to the pitcher her first time and pops this one up, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Rawls is rounding third. She is going to score. Ball comes back to the infield, and the Lady Devils are on now. A big base hit off the bat of freshman Hadley. So a big hit there by Hadley Schuler. So the Lady Devils answering back here with a 2-out rally. Carly Tisateski batting now. We know what she can do. Runners on first and second with 2 out. Carly, what a year she's having, hitting .443. 4 home runs, 2 of those coming last Friday. Here's another mile-high trouble ball, but it's going to be caught in right field. So our Lady Devils leave 2 on base. But again, we close the gap. It's South Stokes 3 and our Lady Devils 2. We go to the top of the 4th after this timeout. Fans, believe it or not, we've played 3 innings already in just over half an hour here. Very fast-moving game here in the final 8 in the West bracket of the 1A state playoffs. Our Lady Devils hosting South Stokes. Our Lady Devils a number 11 seed. And the pitch in for a strike from Riley Rawls, who is having a great year any way you look at things. And South Stokes, of course, having a good year of their own, coming in second in that Northwestern 1A conference. We'll tell you more about some of those other scores as we go along here today. But again, South Stokes, a great season, finishing second behind the defending state champs East Wilkes. But again, just some great softball. South Stokes, a number 14 seed. So, hey, this is a good team coming out of that Northwestern 1A conference. East Wilkes, the number 2 seed this year. And they're, matter of fact, playing Cherokee as we speak up at East Wilkes. Pitch in from Rawls, and it's going to be missing for a ball. Nobody on, nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. 3-2, South Stokes on top. Both teams, I think, starting to kind of find their groove. Sometimes it takes a couple of innings for the hitters to really figure out a pitcher. And there's a foul ball off the bat of number 23, Emily Campbell, who had a base hit her first time up. And I think that's the case with our Lady Devils. We went 3 up and 3 down in the first 2 innings, and then found that groove in the 3rd inning with 1, 2, 3 hits, and then an error by South Stokes and a couple of runs on the board. There's a swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch and a drop 3rd strike, but down to first with no trouble for 1 down. So that is unofficially the 3rd strikeout of the day. And as I've said a million times, my stats are always unofficial. So that means sometimes they're wrong. Lily Jacobs batting now, struck out her first time. Lily, the first baseman for South Stokes, batting with 1 down, nobody on here. And a lot of clouds, big swing and a miss. Wow, Lily took a home run cut at that one. And we are just right now surrounded by a lot of clouds. And of course, if you go by the Weather Channel, they said there was only like a 20% chance of rain this afternoon. So, and big swing and a miss for strike 2. But, only in baseball and weather forecasting can you get 3 out of 10 good and still have a job, but I think that's the case sometimes. You're batting 300. There's a ground ball over to second base. Hadley scoops, fires. Oh, good play. Oh, no. They're going to say that Faith might have pulled off first base. I'm not sure that was the case. Not sure that was the case, but because she caught the throw from Hadley at second, and she really stretched. And I think Toby Burrell agrees that maybe Faith's foot was on the base. They're going to talk it over with head coach Toby Burrell and the 2 officials down there. By the way, here's another big upset of the making. Murphy leading URA Charter 6-0 in the 2nd inning. Talk about a big upset. Of course, Murphy not a bad team. As we mentioned, coming into the playoffs, Murphy a number 12 seed. And now the officials change their mind and say she's out, and now head coach Hunter Ford for South Stokes not happy, and he wants a conversation. The head umpire, the home plate umpire, comes over to talk with him. The only thing I'm guessing is potentially the first base umpire might have been blocked from seeing Faith's foot that might have been on the inside of first base. And again, that's pure speculation. But now they're going to say that it is an out. It is an out. So Hadley got it over to Faith, who stretched and did have her foot on the bag just enough for out number 2. And again, I'm not, well, Coach Toby Burrell happy now with that decision, but I guarantee you Coach Hunter Ford not as happy. Here's a foul ball on the first base side now with 2 down. Abby Eaton, your designated player for the Saras. Number 20 hitting now with nobody on and 2 out. Top of the fourth inning here, but again, some dark clouds, and I hope rain is not a factor. Let's play this one out and win or lose the old-fashioned way. Don't want weather to impact either team. Off speed, swing and a miss for a strike, and Riley Rawls, I know she has a great fastball, a great rising ball, but her off-speed pitch is just wicked because the batters are coming up looking for that, fastball, and she sneaks that off-speed pitch in there, and they really have trouble hitting it. We've said there's a rising fastball, and that's going to be a ball. Close, but it is going to be called a ball. But when you're talking about fast pitch, and then when Riley floats that off speed in there, man, it just really messes up your swing, and we've seen it all year long, out after out. There's a ground ball over to second base. Hadley trying to make the play, and this one very simple and very easy to call. So a 3-up, 3-down inning as we go to the bottom of the fourth. It's South Stokes 3, Swain 2. We'll be right back. Fans, welcome back. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. We're basically halfway gone in regulation 7-inning time as our Lady Devils down 1 run, trying to get it back here in the bottom of the fourth inning against their good pitcher. We have 2 good pitchers, Marissa Crandall for South Stokes, and of course it goes without saying, Riley Rawls has been great all season long. She was the Smoky Mountain Conference Pitcher of the Year last year. Faith Woodard at the plate now for the Lady Devils, hit a fly ball to right field her first time. And I tell you, with Naomi Taylor and Paisley over at Murphy, those are 3 outstanding pitchers. Those are the cream of the crop, if you will, in pitching in the Smoky Mountain Conference, and all 3 are very good. And as we mentioned right now, Murphy leading Uwharrie Charter 6-0. That's early in that game down at Uwharrie. And that's the team that knocked our Lady Devils out of the state softball playoffs last year. We had to travel down there. And, of course, that's one of those charter schools that, swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch for strike 2. Talking about Faith and Carly. And, again, if the Lady Devils win today, going to be an interesting scenario how they're going to do track and field and softball potentially on the same day. Pitch high for a ball. So, but again, as any head coach like Toby Burrow will tell you, hey, we got to win this one first. Then we'll deal with that, and he's 100% correct. Don't count those chickens before they're hatched. Here's a foul ball out of play behind home plate. But South Stokes brought several fans down. They brought a good contingency from up in Walnut Cove, North Carolina. And as I mentioned earlier, talking to some of those fans, they said, hey, well, at least it's not as far as Robbinsville. Pitch outside for a ball, and Faith is on, ball 4. So the Lady Devils getting things started off the right way with one on and nobody out. Kennedy Anthony batting now with Maddie Bird on deck. Kennedy grounded to second base her first time up. But again, both these schools outstanding. Lady Devils are 8-3 at home this year. There's a high, deep fly ball over the right fielder's head. Rounding second, going to third. And the throw coming into third, not in time. Kennedy holds at first base with a big single. So Kennedy Anthony just hit one over the right fielder's head, and there was no chance really that she had to make that play. But a well-hit ball by Kennedy Anthony. Now just a little gathering in the pitching circle, talking about some of the other baseball and softball going on in the mountains. Yesterday, number 1 Cherryville eliminated Hayesville and boys baseball 2-1. So the Smoky Mountain Conference finished with baseball. It was number 15 Eastern Randolph knocking out number 26 Mountain Heritage. Mountain Heritage, the team that knocked out the Maroon Devil baseball team, and that was a 4-1 win by Eastern Randolph. Tuscola shut out AC Reynolds 5-0. TC Robertson is playing tonight. In softball, it was number 1 West Wilkes beating Mount Pleasant 11-0 in the 2A softball bracket. Number 7 Owen is playing Randleman today. Anka might be the best team in the state. They beat East Lincoln 6-1 in the 3A playoffs yesterday. And number 1 Weddington in the 4A division, there's hustling on down to second, Kennedy Anthony. Number 1 Weddington in the 4A class beat number 9 McDowell. McDowell, the only 4A team left in the mountains in softball. Weddington winning that one 8-0. So, again, just a brief update about the mountain teams that some have finished the year, some are still moving on. There's a foul ball out of play behind home plate off the bat of Maddie Bird, who got on with a big single her first time up and actually scored our first run as Riley Rawls knocked her in with that base hit. Pitch in for a strike. Talking about South Stokes. They were the 1986 state champion in the 3A, 4A division. They had both divisions playing in the same bracket, and South Stokes won the state title in slow pitch softball back in 1986. Swing and a miss as, again, Maddie going after an off-speed pitch. But, again, that goes back to our old friend Jerry McKinney's coaching days as the slow pitch softball coach here at Swain, and one of our old friends, Connie Walker Sutton, who was the pitcher of slow pitch softball back then. By the way, congratulations to Connie and her husband and their daughter Gracie. Gracie Sutton just signed a scholarship to compete in track and field at Western Carolina University. So it was good to see Gracie get that scholarship at Western Carolina. By the way, their women came in second this year in the Southern Conference track and field events that just completed recently down at Sanford. And coming in second down there, the Western Carolina women's track and field. Ground ball to shortstop. They're going to go home, and that's going to be, I'm afraid, an easy out. Faith Woodard is going to be thrown out trying to score from third. That was a shot down to shortstop, but safe at first base. The Lady Devils now with runners at first and third. But again, a force play. And that was off the bat, by the way, of Emma Maney, who was, Emma Maney came on to bat for the Lady Devils. A little twist in the lineup. And now coming on is going to be Allie Stevenson to run over at first base. So kind of shaking things up a little bit. And now at the plate is going to be Reese Ammons, the Lady Devils right fielder, swing and a miss for a strike one. So again, the Lady Devils trying to hang in. A big base hit here would be huge. That would tie it up at 3-3. And Reese, very capable, struck out her first time. Hustling on down to second base with third occupied is going to be courtesy runner Allie Stevenson. And Coach Brill has talked about the importance of courtesy runners and the job they do that sometimes goes unnoticed and can mean the difference in a tight ball game and how they can run and potentially score. Marissa Crandall in the circle, getting in there for a strike. So the Lady Devils could now potentially score a couple of runs on a base hit with runners at second and third. Pitch going to be high for a ball. On deck will be top of the lineup and Riley Rawls, and some really big bats coming up here. Reese Ammons, our right fielder. By the way, and there's a swing and a miss. So the Lady Devils, a tough inning. We leave two on base, as again, it's a tight one here at Swain County High School. So 3-2, South Stokes in the lead as we go to the top of the fifth inning after this timeout. Fans, welcome back. It's hard to believe, but we go to the top of the fifth inning. A close game here, swinging at a pitch in the dirt here in the top of the fifth inning for South Stokes. Leading off now as she checks her armband to see the signal from the coach is going to be number one, Tessa Brim, who popped out to first base her last time up. Pitch in just missing for a ball, 1-1. And following Brim is going to be top of the lineup. And Rebecca Amos, who has been a problem and has been a thorn in our side today. There's a high pop-up, potentially playable, and Faith comes over and catches it over in foul territory for out number one. So again, Brim pops out to third base for the second time, or first base for the second time in a row. And coming up now is going to be Rebecca Amos. And again, she has got on both times and stolen bases both times and has scored. So, yeah, this it's no wonder she's a leadoff batter. She hits a ground ball that just dies, but it's going to be foul, says the home plate umpire. So Rebecca will come back and try again. Marissa Crandall, their starting pitcher, is going to be on deck. And by the way, warming up just a couple of minutes ago was Abby Eaton, number 20, warming up over here on the baseball field to our left at Swain County High School. For you folks who, there's a ground ball to first base. Faith has it, tags the runner, and that's going to be an out, even though the runner made a pretty good move there, but Faith got the tag. So, Faith has had a busy day over there. Batting now, Marissa Crandall, 2 down. Marissa has hit the ball twice. Fielder's choice her first time, then flied out to left field her last time up for the Soras of South Stokes. Winner of this game will play the winner of East Wilkes and Cherokee. They are playing as we speak. There's a ground ball. Kennedy Anthony knocked it down but couldn't come up with it. As getting on now is going to be Marissa Crandall with 2 out. That was a shot over at shortstop. Olivia Martin now batting. Olivia has struck out and flied to center field in 2 times. As now, after those big dark clouds were piling up, now the sun is shining right in our eyes and right in the camera eyes of Josh Gordon. And I tell you what, it's going to be a factor if the sun stays out for the South Stokes Soras. Here's a shot into right center field. Going to be caught on the dead run, and that's why Molly Woodard is playing center field. She caught that on a sprint at the last second for a huge out for the Lady Devils. So we go to bottom of the 5th inning, and it's still 3-2 South Stokes. We'll be back with more Lady Devil softball. Here we go, bottom of the 5th inning here in the State 1A 3rd round of the softball playoffs. Lady Devils and South Stokes, and they've got a battle 3-2. South Stokes up by 1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning, but the Lady Devils top of the lineup coming up. And there's a shot to the shortstop on over to first base, and it's going to be in time by Riley Rawls, who is one of the toughest outs on this team. So a grounder to the shortstop. Riley got a big RBI last time at bat. Now batting is going to be Molly Woodard, who was struck out and got on with an error last time. Molly had a great catch there in the top of the 5th inning, running full out, catching that fly ball in deep right center field. Hadley Schuler is going to be on deck for the Lady Devils. Swing and a miss for a strike 1. Still in the circle so far is going to be Marissa Crandall. Having a pretty good day when you can hold the Lady Devils here to a couple of runs, a team that is averaging 8.5 runs a game. You're doing a good job. The left-hander, pitch low for a ball. And that's one thing. You don't see a lot. You do see some, but you don't see a lot of left-handers in fast-pitch softball as you do, for example, in baseball. You see a lot of southpaws in baseball. Molly digging in. On deck is going to be Hadley, followed by Carly Tisateski here in the bottom of the 5th. Again, winner of this one will play the winner of East Wilkes and Cherokee. East Wilkes, the defending 1A state champs. And if Murphy hangs on to beat Uwharrie, the number 1 seed is going to be going down tonight. Pitch inside for a ball. Of course, if you're a Lady Devil fan, the ideal situation would be a Lady Devil win here, a Cherokee Brave win over East Wilkes. That means we would be hosting here on Friday. But again, that's down the road. Ooh, pitch in for a strike. And again, a lot of softball to be played, even though we are in the 5th inning. Still, a lot of things can happen in this game and around the state as the softball and baseball playoffs are being played. A lot of games today and tonight because a lot of them were rained out yesterday. Swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike 3. So Molly goes down with a strikeout. That's going to bring up Hadley Schuler. Hadley got a big RBI last time. That was our big inning as Riley had an RBI. Hadley had an RBI to make it a 3-2 game. Nobody on now with 2 out. Hadley having a really good season, hitting .412. 18 RBIs on the year for the freshman. Pitch high for a ball. Hadley has scored a lot of runs, 27 runs. I believe that's the team leader in that category. And again, only her freshman year. Crandall with a windup, pitch high for a ball. She has missed high a little bit today. But both pitchers have been doing what they do very well. And both teams defensively have been pretty tough with some really good catches and good plays on the defensive side. As we mentioned, the sun kind of going in and out behind the clouds, but if the sun is out, center field, right field, first base, second base on the defense could be looking directly into that sun on a fly ball or any kind of a pop-up. So it can be a problem for South Stokes. The pitch in, that's going to be ball 4. So Hadley on with a walk. And again, there comes that sun out. So on this whole side of the diamond, if you will, now it's going to be timeout on the field as head coach Hunter Ford wants to talk to his pitcher out there, Marissa Crandall, with the tying run at first base. And with Carly Tisa-Teske at the plate, and I'm sure they are aware of the 2 home runs that Carly knocked out of the park down at Cherryville on Friday. So that's probably what Hunter Ford is reminding Marissa Crandall. Hey, be careful what you pitch to Carly Tisa-Teske because she can hit it out of the park and then some. The windup and the throw. There's a swing and a miss. Big cut by Carly, who is hitting .443 with a big year here. 4 home runs, couple of doubles, couple of triples, 23 RBIs, 31 hits on the year. And is an outstanding defensive catcher. Off speed, just missing for a ball. 1-1 the count. The field, considering all the rain that came down yesterday, is really in pretty good shape. It's a little damp out behind second base a little bit. And there's a pop-up that's going to be in play and caught by the shortstop. So the Lady Devils leave that tying run on base. We've played 5 at South Stokes 3, Swain 2. We'll be back with the top of the 6th after this timeout. Here we go in the top of the sixth inning. We're getting down to crunch time, so to speak. And South Stokes with a 3-2 lead here in the top of the sixth inning. As we will now see, it looks like it's going to be the middle of the lineup here for the Sauras of South Stokes. Again, if you wonder what a Saura is and you missed our earlier explanation, it's a small tribe, also known as the Chiraw tribe, but it was way back in the colonial backcountry era down in the Piedmont of North Carolina, and their name still lives on in the Sauratown Mountains down in Stokes County. So that is how they came up with that mascot. Nobody on, nobody out, getting underway here on the top of the sixth inning. By the way, an update in that other Big Smoky Mountain Conference game. Number 1 seed Uwharrie Charter losing right now to Murphy by a score of 6-2 in the fourth inning. So the Smoky Mountain Conference still playing strong. And I'll tell you, Paisley, I think her last name is Johnson, the pitcher for Murphy. If she's on, she's really hard to hit. She's an outstanding pitcher. But again, Murphy with a 6-2 lead in the fourth inning there against the number 1 seed in the state. So looks like it's going to be Riley Penix getting on with a walk. Only the second walk of the day unofficially given up by Riley Rawls. McKenna Flincham, the catcher for South Stokes, hitting now, grounded to third base and to the shortstop in 2 times up. One on, nobody out here. Top of the sixth inning. There's a foul ball off the bat. Flincham. Emily Campbell is going to be on deck. But South Stokes has definitely racked up some frequent traveling miles, if you will. They were at Robbinsville last Friday and back to Swain County today. Pitch outside for a ball. Pickoff throw, not in time at first. But I tell you, Carly can throw it. So again, South Stokes has really put some miles on the activity bus. They're a number 14 seed, but they had to go to number 3 seed Robbinsville Friday. They're here at Swain today, number 11 seed Lady Devils. There's a shot into left field, and it's going to be just foul. That one went all the way to the fence and was a missile down the left field line. But it's going to be just foul. Off the bat of McKenna Flincham. Emily Campbell again on deck. And on first base, Riley Penix with a leadoff walk here on the top of the sixth innings. 3-2. South Stokes in the lead. Off-speed pitch going to be getting by third base. Hits the bag and bounces up. Kennedy Anthony over there tries to keep the ball in play and does before it gets into the outfield. Tough play over there. That ball literally hit the base and popped up in the air. So Flincham is on, and now Emily Campbell batting. Campbell had a base hit her first time and struck out her last time up, but now with runners at first and second and nobody out. And now a pinch runner coming in for the Sauras. Again from Stokes County, obviously. Danbury, their county seat, just north of Winston-Salem. I think their county actually borders the state of Virginia. Beautiful part of the country up there. The wind up from Riley Rolls. Foul ball is going to be fouled away. And coming on to run, looks like it's going to be Chloe Adams, their flex player, down at first base. Courtesy runner down there. Swing and a miss by Emily Campbell. Lily Jacobs will be on deck here. No, my correction down at first as a courtesy runner is 19 instead of 18. 19, Allie Burgess is the courtesy runner now, with the sun coming back out directly in our face here at Swain County High School. Ground ball, slow roller, tough play, third to first. Gets the batter, but the batter moves the runners up to second and third, as Allie Stevenson made a good play, and that was her only choice, getting the batter over at first base. Everybody else moving up quickly to second and third. And it's going to bring up Lily Jacobs, number 99, struck out and grounded to second base in 2 times. So now 2 on, 1 down. Again in scoring position here for the Soras. Riley with a windup. There's a ball fouled off. On deck behind Jacobs is going to be Abby Eaton for the 17-8 South Stokes second place team out of the Northwest 1A Conference. Again, just behind defending state champs East Wilkes. There's a high ball that's going to be trouble. Molly Woodard coming on. No trouble for her. I mean, she can run just like a deer and comes in to just behind second base. Again, with a big catch that looked like it was going to drop in for a base hit, but Molly said, not on my watch, as she makes again running wide open catch over there for out number 2. Big, big play. Molly's had a couple of those today. Abby Eaton batting now again. Runners at second and third. A big opportunity here for South Stokes. Abby has lined out to first base and grounded to second. Here's another line to first base. Just caught on the tip of Faith Woodard's glove, and a big out because that would have scored 2 on a line drive caught by Faith Woodard at first base. That looked like it could be headed into right field. So the Soras leave 2 on base, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's still South Stokes 3, Swain 2. We'll be right back. Fans, here we go. Already bottom of the 6th inning. We're rocking and rolling. Just over about an hour and 15 minutes of playing time, and this game is getting down to the wire in the bottom of the 6th inning. Lady Devils down by 1, but hey, we have still plenty of time to get this thing turned around as Faith Woodard is batting now. Faith got on with a walk last time. Pitch is going to be high for a ball. Faith having a great year hitting the ball, and as we mentioned, she's going to be competing as one of the top shot putters in the state this Friday at North Carolina A&T down in Greensboro. Faith won the shot put in the regionals, and Carly Tisa-Teske, I think, was maybe number 3 or 4 in the regionals, so they're both going to be competing in the shot put on Friday at Greensboro. There's a swing and a miss for a strike. Again, Faith hitting the ball well all year. .373 average. Team leading 6 home runs, 9 doubles, 31 RBIs, 22 hits on the year. What a way to close out your senior season. There's a foul ball out of play. Talking to Faith after the Mountain Heritage win, we were talking about going down to Cherryville, and Faith was very direct. She said, "Oh, yeah, I remember we went down there my freshman year, and they beat us." So, hey, Faith got a little bit of revenge as a senior going back to Cherryville with that 12-1 win last Friday. So, again, our Lady Devils here in the third round. There's another foul ball. And again, Coach Toby Burrell told us this is the first time since 2010 that we have been in the third round. So this is a good softball team, and I really think, of course, this game is not over yet either, but I think next year could be even bigger and better. And this year's been pretty darn big. Again, making it to the final 8 in the West bracket, along with Smoky Mountain Conference friends Murphy and Cherokee. Murphy leading Uwharrie, the number 1 seed, 6-2 in the 4th inning down at Uwharrie. So pitch low in the dirt. There's the second walk in a row now for Faith Woodard, on with a walk for the second time, and that's going to bring up Kennedy Anthony. Kennedy got on with a base hit last time. Kennedy having a good year, hitting .338 with 19 RBIs and a couple of doubles. Kennedy getting a word from head coach Toby Burrell over at third base. Kennedy has been a solid player now in her career here at Swain High. On deck behind her is going to be Maddie Bird. And again, the tying run down at first base. Faith Woodard jumps off and comes back. Pitch in for a strike. Again, only 2 seniors on this team. Meanwhile, South Stokes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seniors on their squad this year. And again, a very bright future here for Lady Devil softball. Ground ball up the middle. Shortstop knocks it down. Cannot make a play, though. Again, that's got to be a base hit for Kennedy Anthony. 2 hits in a row. Now we have runners at first and second. Again, good play over there by the shortstop, Olivia Martin, for South Stokes. She dove to her left, got her glove on the ball, but again, lying on the ground, just couldn't get up and flip the ball over to second base, and Faith was there quickly. And so a tough play. That's just an infield base hit. Maddie Bird now, again, got our first hit of the game. And her first time up at bat. There's a shot into left field. It's going to be high enough for a fly ball out. And it's going to be out number 2. So everybody has to hold up with the third base open. But again, into left field. No chance to run over there. So again, our Lady Devils, I'm pretty sure we left 2 on base last inning. And hopefully we won't do that here in the bottom of the 6th. Runners at first and second. Allie Stevenson batting now for the Lady Devils. Again, that sun popping out. There's a bunt, and it's going to be foul. So now Allie will come back and try it again. Looks like Reese Emmons is going to be on deck, or no, we may have a new batter coming up. It may be Bella Green coming up after Allie. We need a hit right here to potentially move up the runners or potentially tie this game up. There's another attempted bunt. Now, are they going to call that a strike? Did she get a piece of it for a foul ball, or was it just a low pitch? I'm guessing that could be strike 2. She made a bunt attempt. And, yeah, I'm afraid that's the case. Toby Burrell kind of appealed to the home plate umpire because Faith Woodard moved on down to third. But, again, foul ball will send her back to second. So here we go. 2 out, 2 strike. Pitch outside for a ball. One thing about Crandall, she's got plenty of velocity on her pitches. Crandall pitching a good game, as we mentioned. When you can hold a Lady Devil team averaging 8.5 runs a game to a couple of runs, you're doing a good job. Off speed, high for a ball. Again, 2 down, 2 on. 1-run South Stokes lead if you're just tuning in here on the Maroon Devils Network. Crandall back on the pitching rubber. Again, the left-hander. Oh, swing and a miss. And that's going to be strike 3. But again, that's only 2 out. That is only 2 out. And coming on to bat, I believe we're going to have a change on the lineup. Coming on to bat is going to be number 11, Bella Green. Bella on the year, good average, hitting .385. Couple of doubles on the year for the sophomore. And a big chance here with 2 runners on. There's a ground ball. It's going to be a slow roller to shortstop, on over to first in time. And unfortunately, that snuffs out, leaving 2 on base for the Lady Devils here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So we go to potentially the final inning of play, top of the 7th coming up. It's 3-2. South Stokes in the lead. We'll be right back. Fans, welcome back. We are 3-2. South Stokes in the lead, top of the 7th inning here. And it's going to be the bottom of the lineup to lead things off. That's going to be Tessa Brim, their second baseman, who has popped out to first base both times. Here's a bunt right in front of the plate on to first in time. Good cover by Hadley Schuler as Faith Woodard had to charge on the bunt. Hadley, good play, and a good play by Carly Tisa-Teske, jumping out from behind home plate to fire that ball on down to first base for out number 1. So, again, 1 down now, top of the 7th inning. By the way, things really changed down at Uwharrie Charter School as they have just hit a grand slam to tie that game up. 6-6 with Murphy in the top of the 5th inning. A grand slam by Carly Rush. And here's a shot to shortstop, but Kennedy Anthony says no problem. And that's out number 2. And that was their leadoff batter, Rebecca Amos, who had, she has been a thorn in our side. She has scored a couple of runs, and that's a 3-2 advantage. Now batting is going to be Marissa Crandall, who has pitched a very good ball game here for South Stokes. She got a base hit last time. Got on with the fielder, hit into a fielder's choice first time. Here's an easy play over to second base. So it's a quick 1-2-3 inning here in the 7th. And now we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Lady Devils with our backs against the wall, that old phrase, down 3-2 with the final 3 outs coming up. We'll be back to see what happens after this. Here we go, fans. Final 3 outs for the Lady Devils. Can we pull this one out of the fire? Down 3-2. Off-speed pitch in for a strike one to get things underway here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And our Lady Devils have, again, the top of the order coming up to bat here. Couldn't ask for a better scenario. Pitch high for a ball. So, again, top of the Swain order. Our Lady Devils have really been getting people on base. We've left 7 on base here, and that's a stat that really stings here as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning down by 1 run. Here's a pop-up going to be out of play on the third base side. But Riley Rawls, again, a big bat at the plate for the Lady Devils. And again, Molly Woodard, Hadley Schuler, Carly Tisateski, Faith Woodard, all capable of really causing a lot of damage with the bat. Here's a shot that's going to be over the fence. It's long gone. That's a home run, and that ties it up. How about that? How about that? Riley Rawls, a home run in the bottom of the 7th inning to tie this game up. She launched that ball over to the light pole over there in left field. Now a couple of kids run over there and pick up the ball. What a shot. Riley Rawls, who has pitched a great game, just helped her own effort by tying this game up at 3-3. Wow, talk about drama. That's going to bring up Molly Woodard, Hadley Schuler, Carly Tisateski. 2, 3, and 4 batters now with this game all tied at 3-3. Man, but that's why you come out to the ball game or listen or watch. That's the kind of stuff that is just exciting to watch. Molly Woodard on the day now has struck out twice and got on with an error in her 3 times. There's a ground ball. There's going to be, is that a base hit? Yes, indeed. So Molly Woodard on with a base hit. So now the Lady Devils with a winning run on first with no out. Wow. Talk about South Stokes getting a little bit tighter right now. Their head coach, Hunter Ford, coming out kind of questioning whether or not maybe that ball was foul or stayed fair. So now the base umpire and the home plate umpire say, nope, it's safe. Apparently the first base umpire had the best look at it. He said it didn't go foul, but I know Coach Hunter Ford not happy with that decision as he comes out now to talk with his pitcher, Marissa Crandall. Will they make a change? Crandall has pitched a pretty good ball game. I mean, no doubt about it. Both pitchers have looked pretty good here this afternoon in this 3rd round State 1A playoff game. But now, the Lady Devils have tied it up with the winning run at first base. Hadley Schuler, who already has an RBI today, is coming up. Carly Tisateski and her big bat that could win it with one swing of the bat is going to be on deck. So now South Stokes got to be feeling it a little bit. So again, Molly Woodard at second, Hadley Schuler batting now. And again, Hadley having a great year on the season, hitting .412. Here's the windup. Pitch high for a ball. So, again, talking about fantastic finishes, we've got one here today. We're tied at 3-3. And the sun pops back out again. Now we see the right fielder for South Stokes trying to shield her eyes. So the right fielder, second baseman, first baseman, all looking into the sun. And that can be trouble. Pitch high for a ball. Down at first base is Molly Woodard, and Molly can run with the best of them. If there's a ball that gets into the outfield, she is very likely headed to third base. So again, a fast runner at first, good bat at the plate, and a good bat on deck. There's a shot, going to be in for a base hit. Center fielder, though, comes up with a big play and gets it back in quickly, so Molly has to hold at second base. And a big hit off the bat of Hadley Schuler. So now we may see a pitching change. Yep. This is the second visit by head coach Hunter Ford. And he's got a young lady following him with a pitcher's mask. And it's going to be, looks like potentially number 20, Abby Eaton. Their designated player looks like is going to be coming on to pitch as Crandall moves to shortstop. And the shortstop comes out of the ball game right now. You can tell, Crandall moving to left field, not shortstop. But you can tell by her body language as she goes to the outfield, she is very unhappy about things right now. And as this game has all of a sudden been tied up with that big home run off the bat of Riley Rawls, and now all of a sudden the winning runs are on base. And a dangerous hitter, well, two of them here, Carly and Faith, all capable hitters coming up here. The number 4, 5, and 6 batters are trouble if you're a pitcher. And now it's kind of an interesting scenario because now the hitters have to look at a different pitcher they haven't seen. Now, because coming in, it's going to be Eaton, a right-hander. And our Lady Devil batters have been looking at a southpaw all day. But what a game. Two good teams. And again, our hats off to our friends who might be listening up in South Stokes and Stokes County. Our hats off to you for a great season. And hey, this game is not over yet, obviously. Not over yet. So now, Tisa Teske will come to bat. Looking for her first hit of the day. She has popped out to second, popped out to right field, and popped out to shortstop. There's a high fly ball into left field. It's going to be caught, and it looks like everybody's going to have to hold up. Tisa Teske almost knocked that ball out of here. Almost won the game right there. So now one down. Runner still at first and second with Faith Woodard batting. Faith, of course, a dangerous bat, has walked twice. There's a shot that's going to be to the shortstop. Oh, she lost the ball, and now everybody is going to be safe. Rounding third and then jumping back at the last second is going to be Molly Woodard, but the shortstop caught the ball, and it just popped up out her hand. Talk about a break for the Lady Devils. Wow. So now Faith Woodard is on. So now the bases are loaded with still only one out. A shot to the outfield, and this game is over. There's a ground ball, though, right back to second base. And, oh, wow. Close play at the plate. Molly Woodard is going to be called out. That's 2 out. The bases will stay loaded for Swain now. At first base is Kennedy Anthony. So again, with 2 down, got to have some kind of a hit or some kind of an error for the Lady Devils to win it here in regulation. There's a ground ball right back to the pitcher, and that's going to be just so close. The Lady Devils here with a chance to win it in the bottom of the 7th inning. The ground ball off Maddie Bird right back to the pitcher as we leave runners on base. And we go to the 8th inning all tied up at 3-3, but a great comeback by the Lady Devils here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll be back after this timeout. Fans, here we go. We're into extra innings. South Stokes and Lady Devils all tied up at 3-3. And Riley Rawls still bringing it here, pitching the entire game. As South Stokes now will be at the plate. And this game is a whole new ball game, if you will. Tied at 3-3, top of the 8th inning. Swing and a miss, big strike, big cut. Some of these hitters are really going after it. That's Olivia Martin, the number 3 hitter in the lineup for South Stokes now. Olivia has flied out to center field 2 times and struck out 1 time. But again, both these teams are showing why they're in this 3rd round of the State 1A playoffs. They're gritty, they're mentally tough, and they play good ball. Here's a foul ball and going to be no play down the first base side. As you mentioned, the winner of this one will play the winner of Cherokee and East Wilkes. By the way, at last check, URA Charter and Murphy all tied up at 6-6. URA Charter, who beat us last year, talking about the Lady Devils, is the number 1 seed in the West bracket. East Wilkes, playing Cherokee today, is the number 2 seed. They won the conference that South Stokes is in. There's a line drive down the third base side, going to be just off the glove of Allie Stevenson at third. Now throws on over to first base, chasing Martin back. That's going to bring up Riley Penix with McKenna Flincham on deck. So now South Stokes starting to make some noise. As we've talked about, both teams have had their scoring opportunities here. And it's only a 3-3 score. Foul ball. Big cut by Riley Penix, their cleanup batter. And yeah, she launched one over the right center field fence to give South Stokes their 3-1 lead. As man, she just crushed it for a 2 RBI home run. That was back in the 3rd inning, I believe. But the Lady Devils have not panicked. They just keep plugging away. Off-speed pitch for a ball. Olivia Martin, fast runner, down at first base for the Saras. On deck is going to be McKenna Flincham. As the sun is kind of sneaking in and out behind the clouds as it sets over near Hazel Creek. Pitch in, call, strike. Riley Rawls again. We've seen good pitching all day from both teams, and now, of course, South Stokes with a new pitcher coming in, and Abby Eaton last inning. So she'll be fresh in the bottom of the 8th inning. Pitch high for a ball. Rawls looking in now with a windup. And there's a trouble shot into shallow left field for a base hit. No way that anybody could reach that ball. It was just in that no man's land for a base hit now off the bat of Penix. So now South Stokes with 2 on and no out. McKenna Flincham batting, got on with an error last time. So Stokes with 2 on and no out. But again, as we've mentioned, sometimes that has not meant a whole lot, as both teams have had people on base and they get stranded. Rawls with a windup and the throw. Pitch in, gets by, runners advance to second and third. Just off the glove of Carly Tisateski. Rawls with a big fastball getting by Flincham. On deck will be Emily Campbell. Here comes the pitch from Rawls. Here's a shot that's going to be in trouble again. Left fielder coming on. Run will score. No catch. Throw to third. Everybody will stay put now. Just an outstanding effort over there in left field. But again, Mackenzie Bird coming on. Just couldn't. It was just almost like the previous base hit. It was just too far over shortstop and too shallow for a play in left field. So now South Stokes here on the top of the 8th inning with a 1-run lead. And that's going to bring up Emily Campbell. Campbell on the day with a base hit. Pitch high for a ball. Lily Jacobs on deck now for the Soras. Up by a score of 4-3. Of course, the Lady Devils can tie or win in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Boy, we had that big opportunity in the bottom of the 7th, but tied it up. Just couldn't get that winning run across the plate. Big swing and a miss there by Campbell, the right fielder for South Stokes. But again, it's going to be interesting to see if we can get a Smoky Mountain Conference team moving on in the state playoffs. Murphy, Swain, and Cherokee all with that opportunity today. Foul ball out of play. Of course, talking about tight games, though, at last check, Murphy and Uwharrie Charter were tied at 6-6. We're tied at 3-3. So there have been some. There's been some outstanding play around the state today in the state softball playoffs and baseball too, for that matter. Pitch in, just missing for a ball. One thing we do want to say, good luck to Faith Woodard and Carly Tisateski at the state track meet this Friday down in Greensboro. Of course, I know Faith was there last year, so she's kind of a veteran at that and knows the facility. And they have a good facility at North Carolina A&T down there just outside Greensboro. And, of course, our Lady Devils and our boys both won state championships there last year. Big swing and a miss, and that's going to be a big out for the Lady Devils now. Big strikeout as Lily Jacobs will be coming to the plate on the day. A strikeout, a ground out to second base, and a fly ball to center field for Jacobs. As Riley Rawls steps out of the circle momentarily here. Now gets ready to roll. Pitch in, missing for a ball. And again, South Stokes still with runners at first and second. And a 4-3 lead now on the top of the 8th. Rawls looking in. Foul ball. On deck is going to be Abby Eaton as Jacobs digs back in. Ground ball. Hadley Schuler at second goes to first as the runners advance to second and third. 2 out on that fielder's choice off the bat of Jacobs. And now Abby Eaton, who is looking for her first hit of the day, has lined out to first a couple of times and grounded out to second. South Stokes, of course, would love to get a base hit here and get some little more of a comfortable lead, if you will. Of course, if you've been listening today, no lead has been comfortable. That's why we're in the 8th inning. Top of the 8th, 4-3. Stokes up by 1. Rawls wind up. Here's a shot that's going to be in for a base hit. 1 run is in. Throw into the infield. 2 runs are in. That is a big base hit off the bat of Abby Eaton. 2 RBI single. And now, all of a sudden, it's a 6-3 lead Tessa Brim batting now has popped up to first base twice and grounded to the catcher in a bunt attempt. And let's see, looks like the head coach of Stokes talking it over with the head umpire. We may see a change in the lineup here. But nope, it's going to be Tessa Brim, the second baseman, number 1, stepping in now with a 3-run lead and a runner at first base. And then after Brim, top of the lineup for Stokes. Pitch high for a ball. Great day for softball. We've had cloud cover. Actually had a couple of sprinkles, but nothing to cause any kind of a problem with play here. Another foul ball off the bat of Brim. Wow, talk about tight ball games. Bottom of the 7th inning, Murphy 6, Uwharrie Charter 6. And again, good luck to the Lady Bulldogs. Again, they're taking on the number 1 seed in the 1A state bracket in Uwharrie Charter. Murphy having a good year on their own as a number 12 seed. Off-speed pitch, going to be in for a strike. So can Murphy get Uwharrie Charter out in the bottom of the 7th inning and force an 8th inning just like we're playing here at Swain High? Wow. Some great softball going on. Swing and a miss. So that's going to wind up the top of the 8th inning as Uwharrie, check that, leaving 1 on base is going to be South Stokes, but they came up with a big inning now with 3 runs and a 6-3 lead. But the Lady Devils tied it up last inning. Can we do it again? We'll be right back after this timeout. Fans, welcome back. Bottom of the 8th inning. Right now with a 6-3 South Stokes lead over our Lady Devils. It's going to bring up Allie Stevenson, Reese Emmons, and Riley Rawls here. Again, bottom of the 8th inning as our Lady Devils are trying to come back. Here's a ground ball to the pitcher and on over to first base for an easy out, number 1. So 1 down. And let's see, that's going to bring up Reese Emmons here. And she's going to hit with 1 down. Then Riley Rawls is going to be on deck. Reese, a very fast base runner, if she can get on here. Has struck out in 2 times, and it's going to again top of the lineup after that with Riley, Molly, and Hadley. 1, 2, 3. Off-speed pitch missing high. Again, a relief pitcher coming in, Abby Eaton. Right-hander replacing their starter, Marissa Crandall. who pitched a good ball game. There's a foul ball up the bat of Reese. Again, the winner of this game will face the winner of East Wilkes and Cherokee. Cherokee going into that game as a number 23 seed against the defending state 1A champs, East Wilkes. Foul ball off the bat of Reese. But we have seen a lot of really good softball this year. And some good baseball, too. No question about it. Our Maroon Devil baseball team. There's a swing and a miss, and unfortunately, that's going to be out number 2. Our Maroon Devil baseball team also with a second-place finish in the Smoky Mountain Conference. Won our first game, then ran into Mountain Heritage and had a tough second game. Hayesville's still alive, but they lost a tight one, 2-1 in their last playoff game. We're down to our last out. Riley Rawls, of course, a good person to have at the plate with a .559 batting average. And her last time up, yes, she knocked it out of the park to tie it up at 3-3. And she is very capable of doing it again. Pitch outside for a ball. Riley with 4 home runs on the year. Now right at 40 hits unofficially, and just a great year. And we hope it can continue. Pitch high for a ball. On deck is going to be Molly Woodard. Base is empty, 2 out, bottom of the 8th inning here. Here comes the windup and the throw. Off-speed pitch missing high. 3-0 the count. Obviously, Abby Eaton not wanting to give Riley Rawls much to hit. Of course, behind her is going to be Molly and Hadley and Carly. There's a foul ball. It's going to be out of play. Riley digs back in. Pitch low in the dirt. That's going to be ball 4. So Riley gets on here. And the Lady Devils still alive with Hadley. I'll check that. Molly Woodard batting now. Molly likes to slap hit, and she can run. Riley Rawls down at first base. Pitch in for a strike. On deck will be Hadley Schuler. Molly on the year hitting .358, 24 hits. Molly also has 3 doubles and a big triple, so she likes to slap, but she can also hit with some power. There's a ground ball to first base, and that could be it. And that is the ball game, my friends, as South Stokes comes on to win it. In extra innings, 6-3, they'll move on and could be playing very close to home, as they will potentially be playing East Wilkes if East Wilkes can knock out Cherokee in their playoff game today. East Wilkes, again, number 2 seed in the West 1A bracket. Fans, stay tuned. We'll come back and get some comments from head coach Toby Burrell as we continue in just a moment.
Join today. By becoming a member of MDN Live, you will have access to all live broadcasts of Maroon Devils athletics for the low price of $5.99 per month. That means you will be able to watch varsity volleyball, men's soccer, and varsity football for an entire month. If you allow your subscription to continue throughout the year, you will be able to watch varsity men's and women's basketball, wrestling, women's soccer, softball, and baseball. All proceeds from this subscription service go directly to Swain Athletics to help offset the growing costs of providing multiple sporting opportunities for our student athletes. So for less than the cost of a kid's meal at your favorite fast food joint, you'll be providing critical support to our student athletes each month while enjoying countless hours of Swain County athletics live. It's truly a win-win situation. Become a member today and do your part to help keep Swain County athletics the best it can be.
Fans, welcome back here on the Maroon Devils Network as we get a chance to talk with head coach Toby Burrell. And Coach, I know just looking at the huddle after the game, there were a lot of tears over there. I know this was a tough game to lose, not just for coaches but for players as well. But two teams that really played some good ball today in so many ways.
Well, it was a good ball game.
Yeah,
sure was. Great one for the fans to watch, a tough one for Coach to live through and watch. But our kids are so close. This one hurt them. It hurt them bad, and they're a very close group. They got along so good all year long, and to think they're not going to get to practice tomorrow is that hurt.
Yeah. It really is, and a lot of times you don't think about it until it's a reality, and you're having to look at it. And if there's and it's not really a bright spot, but only two seniors on this team, and Faith and Ava, and I'm sure they're going to be missed next year. But the future is really bright for this team.
Well, it is, and Faith and Ava have meant the world to our program for 4 years. And whatever we're able to do next year will be because of them and the example that they set. So it's tough to lose them.
Yeah, they played a good ball game. Their pitching was good. They got timely hits, and I know one thing. As a coach, you look back and look at things, and we had some people on base and just couldn't get them across the plate.
Yeah, we had a hard time getting runs across the plate and stringing together hits when we needed them. We got some timely hits. Riley's home run was a big home run.
Yeah,
kept us in it for an extra inning there. And they got a clutch hit. They're a good hitting team. It was a struggle all day to keep them, hitting balls where we wanted them to. And we had talked about that before the game, that they were a good hitting team. And, we needed to make sure that we had them hit the ball where we wanted them to. And we were able to do that for much of the day. But, it's hard to keep a good hitting team at bay for 8 innings.
Yeah. Coach, we appreciate talking with you. I know it's hard to talk, after a playoff loss, but this team has moved on to the third round of the state 1A playoffs, something we haven't done, I think, in about 15 years. So a lot to be proud of with this group right here.
Well, that's what I told them. It hurts right now, but they're going to look back at this season with great memories of their friendships they've built and the progress that we made in our program.
No doubt about it. Friends, again, a wonderful season. Our Lady Devils losing a tough one today, an extra inning 6-3 to South Stokes. We wish those folks the very best as they move on and play in the Final Four in a couple of days here in the West Bracket. And join us again. We'll be back before you know it with more Lady Devils softball right here on the Maroon Devils Network.